Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the BYC Podcast, proudly brought to you by the great New Zealanders at Resene and Midland Brick for Thursday, the 19th of March. Myself, G Lane, Paul Ford and Dylan Cleaver, and wonderful to be back on the BYC. I was MIA last week, just recovering from my wee jaunt to Ahmedabad.
I thought you made a run for it.
How is Ahmedabad this time of year?
Ahmedabad, it was hot. Ahmedabad was 39 degrees the day of the final. Had a certain air about it, a very dense kind of pollution of coal and kerosene when I arrived late at night. Pretty heinous. I'm still coughing up a lung from being there, to be honest. But it was a good adventure. I must admit, it was a great adventure, and it just emphasises how mental the Indian country is about cricket and nothing else.
Because we like to say that we're religious about rugby, don't we? We like to say that it's like, no one loves sport like New Zealanders love rugby. It's just not true.
No, it's so not true. I don't think they have any other sport. I mean, they've got kabaddi, but they've got, in terms of hockey, no, but do they have 130,000 people turning up to a hockey game?
Hell no.
Like, I mean, it's insane. And it was pretty crazy being there. I didn't get any special seats or anything. I was sitting amongst the
Talk me through the stadium. Like, it's the biggest cricket stadium in the world by some distance.
It's massive. It's quite a way out of town.
Yeah.
But
tuk-tuk, or is there a train line?
I know, it's a tuk-tuk ride. It's a good 20-minute tuk-tuk ride, and which was about $5 to get there and about $50 to get home.
Surge pricing.
Yeah, a lot of surge pricing. They were surge pricing before Uber.
I like that you get charged more money to try and beat the traffic when you miss the end of the game. I actually respect that. I respect that.
It's interesting. It's obviously a massive stadium. It's relatively new, but it doesn't look relatively new.
It's built on the side of the old one, isn't it? They knocked down the old one and put just twice a big one in there.
That was that Sardar Patel Stadium or whatever, something like that.
It's very much not really built for taking the ingress and egress of 130,000 people. Yeah. It's very much a thing I've talked about this morning with Mitchell Satner on the agenda. It's very much about personal responsibility. It's up to you to get to the ground, and it's up to you to leave the ground however you like. It's totally up to you. Don't step out of line because a policeman will hit you with a massive stick. Yeah. That's about the extent of it. There's no road closures. There's no sort of traffic management plan or pedestrian management plan. It is just it's up to you, mate. You're on your own. And I certainly was literally on my own when I left that ground. I left with 5 overs to go. I couldn't deal with the fans around me celebrating every six or wicket by turning around and just yelling in your face. And they thought it was just good banter. It wasn't banter. There was no banter. It was just yelling and screaming in your face. And I was like...
In English?
No.
Well, it might have been banter then. You just weren't picking up on the subtleties, the nuance of some of the... what would it be there? Maharashtra?
Oh, I'm not sure, but there was a lovely lady in front of me, one of the very few females there, who had a laminated A4 piece of paper that had typed on it, "Not tonight, New Zealand." Yeah. And she kept putting that in front of my face. And I must admit, they didn't. There was one time there where, because Hard Dick Panya didn't have a great game with the bat or the ball, a couple of misfield drop catch, and I shouted out, "He's more like a soft cock than a hard dick." Which I thought was classic. Got a laugh from the two Kiwis next to me, and dead silence from the crowd around me, except one dude who kind of looked at me and kind of, like the one who could speak English.
Was he texting the snipers on the roof?
Yeah. And it's so eerie. And talked to Mitch about it this morning. And the satisfaction of silencing a crowd. And that's very much what you do in India. You celebrate the silence, because when they get a wicket, when New Zealand get a wicket or New Zealand hit a six, you hear a pin drop. You can't hit. They just deathly silence. They hit a six. They go absolutely ape shit for...
And there's music in the stadium.
Oh, my God. And fireworks. Every six got fireworks.
Which we addressed last week on the pod, actually, and that this is technically meant to be a neutral tournament.
Oh, no, hell no. No. Yeah, you had a DJ the whole time hyping the crowd up. And they're just thirsty for not overly educated, I must admit. A lot of the crowd in terms of cricket, it was very much, I hit a 6 and we'll cheer. Like, they'd carve one through point and there's a sweeper out there, but they would celebrate it's a 4 and then they'd see a fielder and boo. And it was like, come on, guys, like there's a fielder there. You don't need to But then if a 6 doesn't get hit within maybe an over and a half, they get antsy and they start slow clapping. And then Indian player goes deep in his crease, hits a 6, they go crazy again.
Well, maybe we need a bit more of that in New Zealand. Yeah. Look, I know there's been a bit of a pile on, Michael, and some of it's unfair. I did really enjoy you reading out some of the messages. Some of them were actually really clever.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was a couple
really clear.
A lot of them just straight to the point. I mean, the people had high emotions after that game.
But can we clear up one little thing?
Okay.
Did you personally profit from India winning?
Did I personally profit? No.
Did you enter a
sweepstake in any sweepstake?
Sweepstake.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You tell me. Okay, I know where this has come from. This has obviously been leaked out of the North Shore Cricket Club.
I can't
New Zealand
I cannot
cricket
reveal any sources.
New Zealand cricket is the leakiest sport in the whole country.
My son plays junior cricket at North Shore. Fine. A poll went out. Who do you think will win? This is like a month before the World Cup. Who do you think will win the World Cup?
Well, New Zealand obviously would have been your answer.
No, I would have been. I would have said New Zealand personally.
No, a Cricket World Cup in India. Of course, I was like, well, fuck, India are the favourites. I'll put India down. I didn't realise that this poll was going to be made like not only public, but also put back on the chat again. But I didn't win the prize. So I believe the prize draw. A lot of people picked India. A lot of people. I think about 20 people picked India.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other famous names pick India?
Can't recall. Can't recall. Is it? I'm going to have a chat to Nala.
So what you're saying is, if you had won the sweepstake, you would have handed it.
I would have handed it back.
Yeah, okay.
I can't profit from that, particularly the personal expense that I incurred going to India to watch us get thrashed. Mind you, Mitchell Satin was very kind to me this morning. I apologise for my attendance. He said, apology accepted. I don't think you could do much about India scoring 250, to be honest.
Well, yeah. And, honestly, how many New Zealand fans were there? I think there were 124,000 people at that game. How many, honestly, were New Zealanders? 100?
No, not that, not even that. There were, around me, there was. I caught up with a couple of guys, one out of Singapore and one out of New Zealand who was a pilot. Shout out to them too, they're big listeners as well. Tom and Cam, I think. There was 4 of us, and we did a lap of the ground. We bumped into a few people in New Zealand cricket shirts. They were English. They just picked them up on the side of the road. They just picked a side. The only other Kiwis I met were wives and partners who had flown over. I think Jimmy Neesham's partner had flown over, so had Ish Sodhi's. So I met them. So I think, including wives and girlfriends and fans, no more than 30.
Wow.
I don't think no more than 30, because it's quite a mish. I didn't, it wasn't like would have been interesting if we'd won, because the stadium would have cleared out and you would have seen the 10 people that were there. Would have been us.
Would have been way. Would
have been the greatest ground invasion of all time. Oh, 10 people running from.
Very difficult to invade the ground there. The fences are kind of Mount Eden maximum security-esque, so you're not going anywhere there. And also, the player tunnels are mental. We were quite close to the player tunnels, and the tunnel goes up the stand. It's about 100 steps, and it goes up the stand, and it's just covered in perspex. So that all the crowd are just like banging on the. It's like the tiger enclosure at the Auckland Zoo, where the tiger walks through the perspex thing, and you can. It's like that.
There's great footage actually. Hamish Johns took it as part of the Black Caps video team of Mitchell Santner walking down through there. I highly recommend it. It's intimidating as hell. It's amazing.
And I'd said that to him. I was like, "Is that the only place in the world where that happens?" He goes, "Yeah, it's pretty intense."
They used to have a cage at the Wanderers in Joburg, which apparently got pretty intense as well.
He did say that
at one point there used to be a dragon at the bottom as well, and you had to slay it with a sword as you came out onto the field, I think.
He did say that. He said they don't ever give you any like jip. They don't give you anything. It's not like Australia where they'll get into you.
Yeah, right.
They just kind of bang on the side of the things, and it's just mildly intimidating knowing that you have to actually walk 100. Like after getting out, you have to walk up this tunnel and just get like just bang people banging on.
Take your medicine.
Correct. Anyway, it was good times though. I must admit, it was good to get out of there and head up to Delhi and have a beer. That was good. That was a highlight for me because Gujarat is a dry state.
Dry state, yeah.
I snuck in a bottle of gin, but shit, it's hard to find a can of tonic or a can of anything to have with it. So I struggled with that a little bit. But I did manage to get through half the bottle before then pouring it into a water bottle and getting to the ground. Got up to the ground. Everyone had water bottles, so you're allowed in. I was like, oh, sweet as. And I went up and guy goes, looked at me, looked me up and down and went, no. And I was like, what do you mean? It's just water. And he goes, no. And I was like, sure? He's like, no. And I was like,
he's seen your kind before.
Yeah. I said, that guy walked in with one. He goes, not you. I was like, oh, okay.
It's called accurate racial profiling.
Yeah, so I gently put it down next to his feet and I said, you look after that. He goes, I will.
Well, Michael, I think in your defence, and I did put this on the ACC Instagram last night, plenty of people talk a massive game about loving cricket, and very few of them shoulder the burden of going over and supporting the game in real life. Lots of people will sit around in their pajamas and bitch and moan and talk about curses. So I respect you for going over there, and I'm sorry I didn't come.
Oh, no, thank you for that. No, I was a big shout out to my mate Neil Toy in Singapore there as well. He was fully committed as well and got denied at the border due to his visa not coming through.
Oh,
the Indian visa is the biggest joke you'll ever come across. It's online, and you basically they ask you questions. Basically, you're saying your parents are not Pakistani or your grandparents. That's all you're doing, and that takes 3 days to process. And then they come back to you. Luckily, mine came in while I was in the air to Singapore. It came through. His one didn't come through, so I had to farewell him at the departure lounge at Singapore. So yeah, shout out to poor old Zippy as well. Anyway, bless. Now we've got this current series underway. It's 1-1.
Yeah.
South Africa, a series that it kind of feels like a dead rubber series for a dead rubber summer. Yeah,
I described it as a warm fish milkshake to wash down a Happy Meal. A Happy Meal being the World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's truly bizarre, really, in that you would schedule a T20. I mean, even 3 ODIs or something would be more logical, maybe.
Yeah.
Just post a T20 World Cup.
Feels like we've reached the crescendo, and we reached the pinnacle.
Yep. So we're starting the new World Cup T20 cycle 4 days after the last one ended, and we've done it by picking a whole bunch of old guys, including our test openers.
Yeah, I did feel for the team going out 4 days earlier, being in a World Cup final and having to turn up and play at the Bay Oval. But that first game was a tough watch, and it felt like they were still playing cricket on an Indian wicket.
The linoleum. Yeah, it was pretty extraordinary, wasn't it? I mean, Ben Sears hadn't played a game of competitive cricket for 51 days. Folks hadn't played one for 46 days, and Jamison 38 days without a game. So there's 3 guys that were, I guess, keen to get out there. But gosh, it's no surprise that they were rusty.
Oh,
Jesus.
my God. We were only 20 runs short in that Mount game. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have scored 100 and probably 110, 120 and maybe won that game.
Well, I've made the point that it's quite interesting that New Zealand are determined to change T20 into an attritional grind. And I've got a stat to back it up, actually. So you take the top 3 from each side. We have New Zealand's top 3 in the first 2 T20Is have compiled 86 runs between them off 78 balls. So I'm just doing quick calculation in my head. That's probably around about a strike rate of 108, maybe 110. South Africa, who's top 3, so that was Conway, Latham, Robinson. South African's top 3, which is this guy Esterhuizen, who's the keeper batter, Tony de Zorzi, and a mixture of Ruben Herman, who batted 3 in the first game, and Vian Mulder, who opened in the second game. They've compiled 79 runs off 98 balls.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is a strike rate probably of just over 80. I mean, that is your role now is to take the shine off the new ball in the power play? Is that
you got to see off the overs. You got to see off the power play and then start compiling.
There's also a conspiracy theory that we're trying to make New Zealand T20 cricket as unattractive as possible because there's certain factions of the ecosystem that don't want to see T20 cricket succeed. So people are taking it into their own hands in terms of the pitch preparation and the timing of these games.
So that's and seeing Satner bowl in the Mount, they made him look like Muralitharan in his prime. One guy, I've forgotten who the batsman was. He was
Jason Smith.
Oh my God, Jason Smith. He stepped about a foot outside leg stump and then tried to forward defend one and beat the outside edge and just missed the leg stump. And I was like, I've seen better cricket in the Tradies 11.
Yeah. It just goes to show there's no such thing as bottomless depth when it comes to cricket. I think we've kind of reached that with South Africa now, where Jason Smith, and there was another guy too called Forrester who looked all at sea.
Diane.
Like he was swinging an axe, but he wasn't connecting with much. And but Santner was incredible.
That's not the word you used.
What was the word I used, Paul?
Majestic.
Majestic.
Yeah, he was majestic. Yeah, there was a majesty. It's not a word you often use to describe bowlers, is it? But every single ball, like in T20, occasionally someone's going to club you and send it for 6. But even those ones in the second one, you could tell what he was doing with every ball, what he wanted to do. Slider, over spinner, loopier, quicker. He just had it on a string. And for the past 2 years now, I've come to the realisation he's actually a genius.
Do you know what he's got planned in the arsenal that he might bring out?
Dusra?
The bouncer.
Oh, the bouncer. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's like Shade of Freddie used to bowl the bouncer.
Yeah, so we had him on the agenda this morning, and he was like, you're going to bring back the doozer, and he goes, nah, New Zealand pitchers, throwing that one out, it's just going to get sent, so I'm working on a bouncer. He goes, I'm going to come off a couple of extra paces, and I'm just going to dig it in.
That's good. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. I mean, I was going to say, one thing to know, the South African batting has been a miss and miss, really, I think. But some of their bowling is pretty decent. I mean, they've got Courtsier in there, who looks like Rambo. They've got He Mokawena.
Yeah, he looks good.
And then Otniel Bartman, which, magnificent name, majestic name. He, just so you guys know, he was interesting. He was a massively controversial non-selection in the South African World Cup team. So he's been the top wicket taker in their domestic T20 comp for the last 3 years, and then they still didn't pick him. But geez, they've got some depth. So I think thank God, because otherwise they wouldn't be bringing much to the party. And Maharaj is very good, but Santner has showed him up too.
I love Otniel's name. Two things he cannot do are bat and field.
Oh yeah, the batting, Bartman's batting. Holy moly!
That was quite funny when he got hit in the nuts and the next ball was zeroing in. I don't know if he was using Kane Williamson's new endorsed piece of kit.
So. No, he wouldn't have, because he went down like a sack of spuds. But I was looking at poor Lockie Ferguson. What better chance for a hat trick than bowling to a number 11 like Bartman on a hat trick ball? And unluckily, just hit him in the pads. But
I'm going to give him props there. Actually, he did not debase himself by appealing for that.
Yeah,
Jimmy Neesham at first slip certainly did.
Of course he did.
But I mean, it wouldn't have been the worst shout you'd ever seen. You can guarantee if that was in Pakistan, the Pakistanis would have been up and charging the umpire. But he was just like, damn, sliding down. Never mind.
Right, okay, so it's 1-1, but in that series we moved to Auckland on Friday night at Eden Park in the dark, and then we go to Matt Henry Stadium in Wellington, and then the Dale Hadley Oval in Christchurch to finish off the summer next Wednesday.
Can I just mention one player?
Yeah.
I think there was a little cameo in Hamilton where Josh Clarkson forgot that he was the forgotten man of New Zealand cricket, and suddenly started launching balls all over the show. Only 9 balls, he didn't get a bowl. Like, he's an all-rounder, and bowling has been easily a strong suit for CD this summer. But that was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I forgot to say, I saw that on the I didn't actually see it, but I saw it on the card thinking, there's a handy little knock.
Yeah.
Can I give a shout out to Cole McConkey, who to me suddenly got the air of a player that's been there like 3 or 4 years.
He's a ball magnet too, eh?
Yeah.
Like the ball follows him around.
Yeah, he's taking catches, he's directing fields, he's like, he's acting like Nathan McCullum in his pomp.
They put on what 34 in 2 overs, I think 34 off 13 balls, I think it was, those two just bashing it round. It's bloody good. Yeah.
So rightio, I mean predictions for these next 3 matches.
I think it's pretty important New Zealand win at the concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Because then they lose a significant chunk of players.
So who are they losing? They're losing Satner, Conway, Ferguson. Anyone else in that one? I can't recall. Maybe, but anyway,
they lose Satner. That's critical.
Yeah, that's critical. And Conway open, and obviously Lockie as well is pretty crucial. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting because then they might even it up for the last 2 in Wellington and Christchurch.
Yeah,
but I guess Wellington they'll produce a road with that drop in, I imagine, at Wellington Stadium.
Yeah, the Gorbachev.
Yeah, Mikhail Gorbachev. Rightio. What else has got going? We've got a hunch actually. Our hunch for this upcoming game swung for the fences a little bit on our punt tomorrow night. It's a same game multi, and I'm going, given the short length boundaries and the straight boundaries, that is not the width wise. I've gone for a rather lengthy one, so stick with me. I've gone for New Zealand to win, Tim Robinson to hit 2 plus 6s.
Oh, not in great nick.
I'll give you a stat about that in a second.
Okay, Mitchell Satner to hit 2 plus 6s, and Devon Conway to hit 1 plus 6s. And that is going to return us, for our $100 bonus cash, it's going to return us $1,600. Okay. So I'm just relying on some big hitting at the top, and then some big hitting finishing off with Mitchell Satner. So there's our TAB punt for tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out with Tim Robinson whether he is a gambling man, because I can tell you that last month, great news for you, Michael, he scored 100.
Yes, perfect.
However, he has had 11 bats since then and scored 100 runs combined in those 11 bats. And I'll read you his recent scores: 1, 6, 9, 5, 11, 1, 3, 38, 2, 17 and 5.
He's due.
He is due.
He's massively overdue.
And at Eden Park, he can be in bad form and top edge one over the keeper for 6.
Yeah, that's
but I like that you'll take 12 off 2 and you'll be happy. You'll just happily. Was it 2 plus? 12 off. 12 off 2 balls.
Yeah,
move
done.
on.
Done. And in the women's competition, the double headers, it's been the complete opposite. New Zealand humped South Africa in the first one and then got humped in the second.
Yeah, New Zealand won the first one by 80 runs, posting what's a really big total for women in T20 at 190. The new and improved Millie Kerr at the crease with big runs, 78 off 44, and Georgia Plummer getting runs, 63 off 44. And I only say new and improved in that she's obviously always been a class player, but she's really expanded her hitting repertoire at the crease. She's willingly gone over the top early. Always was kind of noted as a player that took a while to get into her groove. And I think she struggled at the WPL, if I remember rightly, and may have even been given the kind of message that she needed to up her strike rate early. So she was fantastic in that game. Sophie Devine took 4 for 12. Then they moved on to the Tron, as obviously, same as the men. And it was South Africa that batted really well in the first innings, 177 for 5. All the New Zealand bowlers got a little bit of tap. The Kerr sisters both got a couple of wickets, but they went for 29 and 34. It's Melly and Jess. And in reply, I was actually watching a bit of this, and when Melly Kerr was in, she looked amazing. First couple of balls went over mid-on for 4, then over mid-off. I thought they were going to cruise it, but she went out for 32. And despite some heroics from Izzy Sharp down the order, they were always going to fall a bit short.
Yep. Yeah.
Great stat in that second game when Melly Kerr got her 100th T20 international wicket, and I think she played 93 T20 internationals. She was the second fastest woman to 1,000 runs and 100 wickets. And I was like, really? Who was faster than her? The captain of Hong Kong, Carrie Chan.
What?
Oh my God. She's put together a powerful CV, I can tell you.
Get out of it, Kerry. Get out of it, Kerry.
I would have thought it was at least Perry, so there you go. So Melly Kerr's got there quicker than her. That's good.
Righto, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with something that's been hogging the headlines, mainly in the Herald, actually, and that is the Bash versus Smash hoopla. Okay, we've discussed this probably ad nauseum in the last, month or so, but it came to a head because Deloitte have delivered their recommendations, or their pros and cons
ahead of time
on the options for New Zealand cricket moving forward, i.e. stick with the Super Smash, stick a team in the BBL, or go with a independent privately run NZ20 league. The headlines have been interesting. New Zealand cricket are remaining pretty stum on the whole thing, not willing to commit either way, which they're doing. The board apparently have been presented the report.
The board met on Monday to discuss the report, and
have they voted?
I don't know if they voted. I actually don't know that. Maybe Shane Curry knows, but
yeah.
I don't.
How has this report not leaked? Every other single piece of this thing has leaked. How is this? It must be very, very tightly held.
Well, and the thing is, that doesn't even give a recommendation, right? It just gives a list of pros and cons for each, which we could sit around, if we had a bit of time and a bit of time to prep, we could sit around and do the pros and cons for each.
Oh, yeah.
Very easily. My understanding of it, and again, I haven't seen it, so I'm just talking from what I'm talking from what I've heard, is that it is a report that can be read any way you like. So if you're a massive fan of the BBL, you're going to find stuff in that report that goes, see, I told you.
Right.
BBL is the option. If you're a fan of NZ20, you go, I knew all along, NZ20. If you're a fan of the Super Smash and want to keep things the same, you go,
told you.
Oh, why do we have to go through all this? It was always going to be a Super Smash. So that's my take on what I've heard about the report.
Well, Daryl Mitchell came out pretty strongly earlier in the week as well about his support for the NZ20. No qualms about that. He was pretty straight up and down.
Him and the Hairy Rav, actually, and the important line from the Hairy Rav. Well, I mean, probably they're getting coached on what to say. Let's be honest about how the world of communications and PR works here. But the critical line from the Hairy Rav was, people think it's about greed because, let's be upfront here, NZ20 is a equity stake for players. And he basically said, to paraphrase him, I could earn heaps more money by not playing in New Zealand. Yeah. Like, this isn't the NZ20 isn't designed to make us rich. It is designed to benefit a much broader base of New Zealand talent than having one team in the BBL than what you can possibly get for a money-losing Super Smash. So I thought that was interesting, actually, because that's a chatter I hear a lot. Is of course the players want it. They're getting money for it.
Yeah, that's right. They were talking about the whole domestic structure. Lots more players getting, a deeper pool of players getting money to pay, getting paid good money, and also the ability to be professional players all year round rather than have 7.5 month contracts. And Mike, maybe you're about to say this as well. Daryl Mitchell also made the point: why would we give up our identity to Australia? Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Powerful words, I reckon, from two guys that have played pretty much every game of every format possible for New Zealand. These are two of the most committed guys you could get.
I was going to just say, I mentioned it earlier in the week when I went a bit of a rant on the agenda.
Please do again.
But for me, it's the lack of ambition that we have collectively as a nation. The fact that the BBL, people see that as a good option, and the fact that we don't believe in ourselves, that we're a team that make World Cup finals regularly, semi-finals just about every World Cup, and we compete internationally, yet we lack any sort of ambition domestically in doing that. And I don't understand what that is and why going to Australia is any benefit whatsoever. I think it kills me. Why can't we just have a little bit of ambition and go, right, let's do it? Players would come here. Players would come here in January. Imagine saying all these players have got mates pretty much with all the players now anyway, because of the IPL, because of the CPL, all that stuff around the world. Bring them over here. Say, hey, as part of it, you'll get a 1-month membership to Te Arai Lynx. You watch half of the England team come over and play in January.
Or do they want to be sitting in a hotel room in Johannesburg.
Pakistan.
These are the options. That I agree with you, Mike. I think that we massively underestimate the appeal of New Zealand. It's 4 weeks a freaking year for the men, 2 weeks for the women. 4 weeks for the men is what we're talking about here. And the other thing that I hear a lot is, why would anyone want to come and put money in here? It's like, we've given up before we've even said, hey, does anyone want to put some money in here? It's like, it's not up to us. We're not going into our pockets. These are people who have got, those IPL teams have got 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in different competitions. They are trying to get a brand operating in a market 12 months a year, because at the moment they can only be the IPL team for 6 weeks or 8 weeks a year. And so we shouldn't underestimate or assume that we know what level of interest there will be from people with shitloads of money. New Zealand is hugely appealing to a lot of those parties.
And also people who say, who's going to turn up? Like, already defeating the fact that no one's going to turn up. How do you know that no one's going to turn up? And I use the example of the only privately run cricket match in New Zealand currently is the Blacklash.
No, I was at the Plunlet Shield yesterday. There's no one at those games. It's free, and there's all these millions of fans that are so obsessed about going to the cricket. They're not there. Mike, you just said there's 10 people at Ahmedabad. At the Super Smash game, there might be 1,000. It's broken already because it's costing money. It's been done on the cheap so that we can spend the money in other places. Take that off the table. Put that money that's been poured into the Super Smash currently, put that back out to do something cool with NZA or grassroots, whatever the hell you want, and siphon it off to someone else who's going to make it cool and interesting and get bums on seats and get people along. Jesus Christ.
I know. I totally agree. And do you know what? I had a conversation with a couple of Indian cricket fans, and this will blow your mind. He's checking in. The guy goes, "Oh, you from New Zealand?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You here for the final?" He goes, "Yeah, here for the final." He goes, I love New Zealand cricket. And I was like, "Oh, really? Do you watch me?" He goes, "Yeah, I watch the Plunlet Shield on YouTube. It's great." And I'm like, "You what?" And then there's a mate goes, yeah, we watch it all the time. I was like, "Oh my God. Like, this is how much those guys love cricket. They sit down and watch Plunlet Shield in India on YouTube." That's how much they love the game. It's fucking crazy.
So can we rewind a bit here? And I'll be the questioner here. Either of you two can pick this up. What is it that is putting some New Zealand cricket? Clearly there's a movement within that senior management team at New Zealand cricket. Clearly there's a movement by portions of the board. What is it that they don't like?
I reckon it is partly around losing control of the summer. Now, I would argue we've probably lost control of the summer in terms of the best players playing in New Zealand at the moment. Look at the current series. Yeah. So I think that's part of it. I also think the second part, and I don't think that NZ20 has done a good job of telling this story yet because it's not real. Something like this needs to happen to protect Test cricket. I think that at the moment it's like, no, we don't want anything to change because we just want everything to keep going like it used to be in 1986. It's not going to happen. How can we come up with a way of keeping New Zealand players and other really good international players playing in New Zealand in summer? This is one way. And how can there be enough money in the game that people want to keep playing for New Zealand at the long form of the game? I think there is a little bit of, if we succumb to this franchise world, it will kill Test cricket. I think that if New Zealand can have a seat at the table where those franchises are deciding what the hell is going to happen to the cricket ecosystem over the next few years, that's going to be a better place to be in order for us to fight that fight. But I think it's a bit of defensiveness around, the kind of dreamland around we're going to go back to the way it's always been with our summers full of test matches and one-day internationals. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and Michael, New Zealand cricket has had control. They've run a Super Smash now for years.
Yep.
Probably 20 years or, well, maybe not that long, but, for a significant amount of time. Why can they not make Super Smash work? Why would a private investor or investors be in a better position to make a T20 competition work than NZC?
I just think the New Zealand cricket model, they're kind of bound by certain, standards. Not, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I think a good example is what we've discussed before, the best promotion ever in cricket history.
The Tui Catch a Million.
Tui Catch a Million, but they had to shut it down because they had to be seen to be protecting the health and safety of the crowd. If that was the Black Clash, they would have dialed it up and given away 2 million and got twice as many people in there. The ability to do things differently and with no consequence, the ability for New Zealand cricket to maybe be at arm's length to a promoter. So look, Dave Duco and Black Clash. I keep going back to the Black Clash, which is so focused on the fan and the fan experience and sells out every year. Admittedly, it's just one game, and there's an advantage of the novelty of that one game. But I think the ability to do things differently and do it freely and without any constraints of what New Zealand cricket might have with, whether it's with their operating model, whether it's ICC, or whether it's been seen to be doing the right thing.
Yep. For
cricket and for safety, whereas I don't make it safety. You don't want to make it unsafe, but you know what I mean, like doing things that would be appealing to the fan and the fan only, that would potentially rock the boat a little bit with your cricket traditionalists, which we can't really focus on.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. But I guess it's a big step for them to give that up, because I don't know, it would be.
But why wouldn't they want to? I mean, I look at it and they're losing 4 or 5 million a year. I think the rumor is that they lose from
Super Smash.
Super Smash. So if you're guaranteed an actual stipend rather than guaranteed losing money, which you can then distribute, plus that 5 million that you've taken off the books, you can distribute to the other areas that are important to New Zealand cricket, which is community cricket, which is, pathways. I think it's a win-win. Now, I have been a little bit sceptical, cynical even, I admit, about NZ20, only in the fact that I worry about private investment. I mean, it's a bad analogy, and the comparison is apples and oranges, but I look at Silver Lake and New Zealand rugby and I go, whoa, hasn't that worked out brilliantly for the All Blacks? And so that's a kind of a narrow focus. But the more I think about it, what is the worst that can actually happen with the NZ20? Investors come in, it fails, they don't like it, they pull their investment out, NZ20 ends after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. What have we actually lost? A little bit of egg on faces of a few people.
But massive investment in the game.
The worst is...
Probably mean as stadiums and some wicked lighting systems and like some pretty sweet merch, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's right.
So why don't we just give it a go?
Oh,
that would be my message to New Zealand cricket.
Yeah.
I think that's what you get with the private investment, is you get extreme clarity that every decision made by the owners of that competition, and I mean the competition as a whole, and then the franchise owners in each of the places, everything is based around making that event on that day as part of that competition absolutely sensational. And in particular, like I mentioned before, if you're an owner of you're a gazillionaire and you are building a brand for your franchise around the world, you're hugely invested in getting really good players to awesome places and making it a sensational experience for everyone on and off the field. That's what we don't have. At the moment, New Zealand cricket, understandably, is going, how can we deliver this competition and not lose money? That's an incredibly different mindset, whilst they're also trying to navigate the whole cricket ecosystem around Black Caps fixtures and ICC events and all of the obligations around bilateral cricket and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's that clarity. I think that's a big thing that it brings. And remember, it's 4 weeks out of 52.
I know. And people are like, well, how are you going to compete with those other leagues? It was like, well, we don't have to.
You're not.
Yeah, we don't have to.
It's your own league.
Yeah, it's your own league, completely your own league. So my worst case scenario is that is haunting me is New Zealand cricket going for a hybrid model like Super Rugby and having part private investors, part still controlled by, which has worked pretty well, and I'm being very sarcastic here, it hasn't worked overly well in Super Rugby.
No.
If they haven't got full control, why would a private investor invest? I don't think they will. I don't think you can say to a private investor, here's 50% of the Auckland Ballbags T20 team. You know what I mean? They're not going to be investing millions into that, are they? So
you could do 50. You could do 51, but you're right. The 1% matters. The control matters.
Totally does. So I just hope they don't kick it can down the road and try and go for some sort of hybrid model that has never been done before.
Because we are kind of thinking that. Well, are we? Are we thinking the BBL out of the picture. I mean, one team in the BBL seems to be crazy, but I still hear people say, I just want to do it. I want to see it. I want to be on my couch at 9:30 at night and watch the Auckland Sky Towers against the Brisbane Heat.
Has anyone asked Aussie, though? Has anyone asked them?
I think they invited New Zealand to apply for a license, didn't they?
Right.
Yeah, they came out. Yeah, that's right. But they're talking about that not being till
28,
at least a couple of years away. So they've got a big decision to make over there too. They're talking about that potentially bringing in 800 million Australian dollars, which is 980 million New Zealand dollars if they sell off some of their Big Bash teams. So it's huge shifts over there as well. So do we want to tie ourselves to their uncertainty? I'm not sure that we do.
I don't think we just need to tie ourselves to them at all. I go back to that ambition. Why just succumb and just send? And everyone looks at that because immediately punters go, oh, look at the Warriors, look at the Breakers, look at Auckland FC and Phoenix.
Different environments completely. And actually the MAs have said it'll be the death knell of us if you do that. The Players Association have written a 9-page position paper saying why they won't support BBL. It seems to me that New Zealand cricket, if that was the direction they went in, would have so much work to do just to get those key stakeholders, shareholders, whatever you want to call them, to even base camp on the idea. It seems far-fetched to me now that they'd go for that option. And on that topic, actually, big news in the Players Association.
Yeah, Heath Mills gone after 25 years in the role. Has resigned as CEO of the New Zealand Cricket Players Association. There's been all sorts of rumours around why he's chosen this time. But I think it's a good time because obviously Scott Wernick is gone. He's gone. Now there's a kind of clear pathway to make a decision on New Zealand cricket without having potentially those two personalities that were clashing potentially.
I would imagine he would see it differently. But I think he's been looking to go for a little while now, Heath. But you're right. The timing feels convenient.
It does. And good on him.
He's seen a few things.
He's seen a lot of things. I'll miss getting phone calls from him too, around player rights breaches and all sorts, which were about 2 or 3 times a year. I would look at my phone and I'm like, hello? You know what this call's about? Yeah, I do.
I imagine he's quite keen to go get a job where he gets paid an hourly rate rather than a fixed salary. That'd be one thing.
We've lost.
I know Heath's got himself into whatever you think of Heath, and I've got a huge amount of time for him. I think he's fantastic. He has done a phenomenal job for the players. You look at what the players had at the start of his tenure versus what the players have got and the influence that they have and the clarity of thinking. You see it in those comments from Daryl Mitchell and Ratchin Ravinja this week, that they're emboldened and they're straight up. And yes, there's still lots of politics to navigate, of course, but I think Heath's done an incredible job of representing their interests.
Right. We're going to touch on a few more things before we take a break and get back to our some of our regular features. But some news from the great man. The great one, as you call him, Dylan Cleaver.
I summed it up, Mike. I was just going to say, isn't it great to hear that he is keen to continue to keep getting whacked in the balls by red leather cricket balls later this year? I mean, no one wants anything more in the world than to see Kane Williamson get hit in the balls a few times in England later this year. That's what I want. I mean, I'm so excited to hear that he's up for that.
Yeah, so he is. He's kind of in a very Kane Williamson kind of way committed to England by announcing that it's on the radar. Does this fill you with the joy in that? Is he the kind of guy that if he commits to that, he will commit to the entire World Test Championship cycle? Or no?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
It feels very case by case to me, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. But I guess maybe it's wishful thinking on my part that he's such a kind of diligent guy that I almost get the feeling that if he didn't feel like he would see that cycle through to
if he starts something, he'll finish it.
If he starts something, he'll finish it. But so I guess the key for New Zealand is to stay in contention for that World Test Championship final for as long as possible.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. If he sees them languishing down the mid to lower table, he'd be like, yeah. I'm just going to touch on something else. I don't think you've got it in here, and that is the Leeds Sunrisers and Sunil Gavaskar kerfuffle. It is coming up.
That's cricket violence.
Oh, okay, excellent. I haven't read it. I thought you might have bring that in. Well, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with Sunil Gavaskar's Cricket Violence Corner.
Paul Ford's Cricket Violence Corner.
Yes. Well, in the wake of the slave auction for the 100, Sunil Gavaskar has written a column in the midday newspaper in India in which he writes, "The furore created by the acquisition of a Pakistani player by the Indian owner of a franchise in the 100 is hardly surprising. Since the Mumbai attacks in November 2008, Indian franchise owners have simply ignored Pakistani players for the IPL. Although belated, the realisation that the fees that they pay to a Pakistani player, who then pays income tax to his government, which then buys arms and weapons, indirectly contributes to the deaths of Indian soldiers and civilians, is making Indian entities refrain from even considering having Pakistani artistes and sports persons. Daniel Vittori, the coach of the team in the 100 who hails from New Zealand, may not understand this simple dynamic, and so may have wanted some Pakistani players in his team, but surely the owner should have an understanding of the situation and discourage the purchase." Now, this is, I would put to you, to educated men, this is a long bow for Sunil Gavaskar to draw.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just think this is out the gate. This is provocative shit-stirring and frankly making an argument that makes no sense.
Straw man argument, really. I mean,
Dan, the player in question I was going to say is Abra Ahmed, who was acquired in the auction. So there's another guy, the stop motion spinner. What's his name? Tariq. He got selected by the Birmingham Phoenix. They don't have IPL ownership. No one's got a problem with that. So it's the juxtaposition between the IPL owned teams and the non-IPL owned teams, or non-Indian owned teams.
So my wife is travelling to China as we speak, and I'll be eating a lot of takeaways over the next 9 days. One of them will be Burger King. I really like the Rebel Whopper there.
Yeah.
So by eating a burger from an American multinational, have I actually killed an Iranian baby?
Yes, you have. Yep, because the taxes paid by Burger King Central in America go towards weapons being unloaded on Iran from Israel.
Damn, I'm not going to do it then.
Okay, so what is the biggest money-making game of cricket in the whole world? Or sport, pretty much, of sport in the whole world?
Pakistan.
Pakistan. Okay. Does Pakistan get any of that money?
Yes.
Yes. Shitloads of it. I mean, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense.
I do love the drive-by that he gives Vittori as well.
Yeah, he wouldn't understand.
Yeah, he wouldn't understand the politics. Fucking every single cricket fan in the world knows the fucking politics between India and Pakistan, you fucking numpty.
I did enjoy, though, I don't know if you've seen Dan's explanation. He goes, "We were trying to bid on Adil Rashid. We didn't get him. We had some money left in the kitty and we thought we'd buy the next best spinner."
Cricket decision.
And also, it's illegal to discriminate in England as well. So you can't actively do that.
Which the ECB, well, the government made clear to the ECB, and the ECB made clear to all the franchises. But yeah, I mean, as Paul mentioned one day, you can tell them that they can't discriminate, but what's to actually stop an owner from just going and having a cup of coffee with the coach and the general manager of that franchise and went, "Look, I know we can't discriminate, but we're not picking Pakistan."
Yeah, and Gavaskar did actually go on to say, "I wouldn't be surprised if Indian fans were protesting at these matches." You know, and
I don't think they'll give a shit.
Extremely provocative stuff.
That's a call to arms in some ways, isn't it? I mean, that's pretty low rent.
But some New Zealanders done pretty well out of the 100 though, and the slave auction there.
There's pretty much a New Zealand connection, across every team. You know, whether it's Vittori coaching, Bond is coaching, Sophie Devine's in there playing, Susie Bates is in there coaching. Yeah, there's all sorts, and there's basically a player in every team, I think, except maybe the only team that I think doesn't have a New Zealand coach or player is the Southern Brave.
Yeah, nice, because you got Finn Allen in there. I mean, it's a good earner. I mean, $364,000 New Zealand dollars for his 100 contributions. Allen. Then you got Seifert, Ferguson, Bolt, Henry, Satner, Ravindra, and Milne. Sophie Devine. It's a pretty handy payday for her as well.
Epic payday.
At $476,000 New Zealand dollars. Mealy Kerr, is it Jess Kerr as well, and Susie Bates, obviously in that coaching role too. So yeah, I mean that's a good little earner, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as I saw some headline, I probably didn't dig into it enough, but it's the biggest fee given to a 100 player. I think Sophie Devine broke the record.
Yep, Sophie Devine and Beth Mooney. Yeah, both of them. Wow. Yeah, pretty extraordinary. And again, this is the economics of private money. Now, I know some people will be like, well, this is exactly what we don't want to happen, but there is definitely an element of the best players attract the best money and deliver the bums on seats. Away we go.
Yeah, why don't we want it to happen? Is there an inbuilt jealousy amongst us? That, you know?
Absolutely there is.
Yeah.
Hey, now this is for my Indian friends over in there in Ahmedabad. What's going on in the Plunlet Shield?
Well, we're at a critical stage of the world's greatest cricket competition, and it's a bit pointless because anything I say now will be out of date, but the penultimate round of Plunlet Shield started yesterday. Anyone can win apart from Wellington, who've had just a shocking season. And it's going very well for Canterbury and Rangiora against CD last time I saw. So they're leading the table. It looks like they're going to further entrench their position unless CD, who are 3 for nothing, can pull something out of the fire there. And the other critical match, I think, is Auckland. Actually, I haven't got it in front of me. Paul, can you help me out here?
Auckland, Wellington. Yeah, I popped in there yesterday. A few interesting cats going around. Tom Blundell's captaining Wellington. And Luke Watson was a new top order batsman that I hadn't seen. I see he got 86. His old man played a lot of first class cricket for Auckland. In South Africa, I beg your pardon. Wellington scored 300 and Auckland are on track to score 1 million and then get ready to roll Wellington. So I'd say Auckland definitely in with a shot. Weather looks good. So yeah, Auckland very close to mowing down that Wellington total, but only 4 down.
Tom O'Connor took another forfer for Otago against ND. That game looks pretty tight from what I can see, but still a bit of time to go. I can give you an update on the golden box and the silver sweatband. Now, this is taken from stumps on day one of these matches, so they will have changed now because I know Shmulian was not out when I compiled this, but as it stood at stumps last night, Henry Nichols, who was just having a domestic season for the ages, like all formats, or certainly in the one dayers and the Plunlet Shield, 727 runs. He scored runs again yesterday. Shmulian was on 654. That could have changed. Henry Cooper was on 624 from ND. They're a long way ahead. They're at least 110 runs ahead of the next best. Silver Sweatband, it's tightened up at the top, actually. Gulati was a long way ahead from Auckland on 27. Raymond Toole of CD, I think he's another SAFA, or a SAFA originated in SAFA. He's on 26. And Sean Davey and Simon Keane from Canterbury and Auckland, respectively, on 21. But the one I want to mention is son of Shane. Tommy O'Connor is playing just his 3rd match of the season. He already has 20 wickets at an average of under 10.
Oof. Surely, I mean, you got to take that into account for the silver sweatband at the end of the season, surely. Or is it just a straight out numbers?
It's a straight up numbers game.
Straight up numbers, okay.
No, judgment.
Right. Okay. Well, my Indian friends will be pleased about the update on their Plunlet Shield. They'll be glued to the penultimate round. Take a quick break, and we'll be back with Dylan Cleaver's Who Am I?
It's Dylan Cleaver's Who Am I?
Yeah, well, last week the correct answer was Leaping Lenny Butterfield, the Canterbury all-rounder who scored 0 and 0 and took 0 wickets in his one and only test. The same as WG's younger and less fortunate brother, Fred Grace. Winners included Lockie and Dad, David W. and Michael Seth, who stole my thunder somewhat by detailing the after effects of this match, this test that Lenny Butterfield played, which was against Australia. I actually have a feeling it wasn't a test when it was played. It later was classified as a test. Australia didn't have Bradman, they didn't have Arthur Brown, they didn't have Keith Miller, they didn't have Lindsay Hassett, Ray Linwell, Bill O'Reilly. And they actually only posted, it was at the Basin Reserve, they only posted 198 for 8 declared. Yet they still won by an innings and 103 runs.
Whoa.
Yeah, New Zealand were pretty bad. It was a dodgy wicket. And the upshot of that was Australia decided not to bother playing us again for close to 30 years, which is why, as Paul articulated last week, we shouldn't get too sniffy when the Zimbabwe women's team comes here and gets pasted from pillar to post.
We should also be careful about trusting Australia with the future of our game as well.
Exactly.
Correct.
You can never be trusted.
So this week, who am I? I have a name that conjures up images of a Robert Mapplethorpe exhibition, but I was a straight shooter. My rise to the black cap was curious in that I was a southern batsman with an unspectacular record who seemed to be promoted above my station. The selectors had other ideas though, and despite early on, in the niggly presence of more buys in the airport departure hall, I became known more for big gloves than small. I scored important runs in a famous victory, and a century against a top-class but not international Australian attack was evidence of my ability, but overall my batting never quite justified my selection over slicker keepers. Ironically, the cord was finally cut in my test career just days after one of my best knocks for the national team, a blazing 96 in less than an hour and a half. My connection with cricket continued. Although I was born a southern man and had lived the bulk of my later life on the mainland, my rump years were spent in the north, where I became a noted selector, administrator, and all-round beloved figure of the sport. If you think you know who I am, I'm all ears. Who am I?
Well, there you go. Slide into our DMs in the ACC on Instagram or Facebook, or send us an email, byc@beigebrigade.co.nz if you know who that one is. Rightio, a little bit of correspondence here.
Bit of homework, actually.
Homework.
Paul Ford was given some homework, and he came up trumps.
Yeah, this was good. So we got a note from Robin last week who said that he'd had some memorabilia, and as he was talking to his dad about it, his dad said, yeah, this is from when the West Indies played at Waitaki Boys High. And we were like, well, including Robin, we were like, that can't be true. It is true. We've fact-checked it. Sensational. God, absolute cricket history lesson here. So, yeah, Robin has been back in touch and said, thanks for talking about it on the podcast. Enjoyed the chat. I did speak to Dad about the game. He said, I think the bats came in for a relation, but the match was definitely at Waitaki Boys, played on the backfield as it was known in those days. I wasn't playing, I was a spectator. The match was between North Otago and the West Indies. One of my teachers, Mr. Bean, opened the batting for North Otago and scored a duck. So we gave him grief for the rest of our time at the school. That was 1955-56. I was in junior high school at Waitaki. What a great yarn. So the West Indies came here. This was the series where New Zealand actually recorded their first ever test victory. And
still
so
lost
in
the
North
series.
Otago, in North Otago, they talk about it as they say, North Otago softened up the West Indies to be taken down by New Zealand. So, yeah, pretty extraordinary stuff. Garfield Sobers played in this game, and J.R. Reid, absolute legend, colossus of New Zealand cricket, made his debut for North Otago, having just moved, I think, to Oamaru out of Wellington, made his debut for North Otago and played as captain. So Sobers versus Reid on the Waitaki Boys backfield. Extraordinary.
Jeez, was it on a... They didn't have turf back in the day, so pitch must have been... What was the pitch like at the back of Waitaki?
Waitaki Boys was a really highly regarded sports schools back in the day. It was a mighty rugby school, and I guess it was, the two sports tended to go hand in hand. Yeah. It would have been a good cricket school. But yeah, that West Indies squad had some legends. Like Everton Weeks was in that West Indies squad. I don't know if he played that particular game. I don't want to keep giving Paul homework, but that's...
Andy Roberts was in that. Andy Roberts.
Shit, no wonder Mr. Bean got a duck. Like, leave poor Mr. Bean. He came out there replacing Andy Roberts.
Oh, that wouldn't have been the Andy Roberts of the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's who was it? Collie Smith.
Holly Smith, great all-rounder.
Yeah, there's a few legends in there. Just trying to have a Anyway, God, Dewdney took 7 for 35 for the West Indies, so I don't know. I haven't heard of him.
Tom Dewdney,
God.
And in one of those great sort of little drive-bys, unfortunately, over the years, soil erosion has seen the backfield cricket ground slowly disappear, and cricket at the school is now played on Milner Park and the Don Field. It's like. But yeah, sensational. Great stuff from you, Robin.
Okay, and
that leads directly into
Bat chat.
Still one of the greatest ever stings there from Joseph Jury himself, repeating bat chat.
So Robin features again in Back Chat Part 2. So this is the story. We separated it out from the other one because it was such a good standalone yarn. My own Bat Chat story is about my first real bat. Dad came home from work one day with the legendary Grey Nichols single scoop.
Oh, yeah.
Which he purchased for me from Second Wind on Wakefield Street in Wellington. Does that still exist, Paul?
Wakefield Street does.
Yeah. Oh, no, Wakefield Street.
Yeah, Wakefield Street, definitely, yes. I'll go and have a look at Second Wind when I go for a wander.
And he's right there, Robin. The Grey Nichols single scoop was perhaps the most legendary bat ever invented. Slightly illogical, but still legendary. I've been a Grey Nichols man ever since. I love that bat and blazed away with it for a few seasons. High score 19.
Blazing.
Until I grew out of it and got a Grey Nichols Elite and then the Grey Nichols Ultimate. Its game day use was probably mostly done with soft balls before I graduated to proper cricket balls. As with most bats after their retirement, they turn into BYC bats. One summer's day, I went down the road to a local school to have a hit with a mate of mine with a cricket ball. While this gent may share the same name as a famous jeweller, so I'm guessing it's Michael Hill, on that day he sent one down to which I got a thick outside edge which broke my jewel of a bat. The bottom third of the bat came off and was only being held on by the plastic cover that I had on the face to protect it. Heartbreaker. Love your work, Robin. Do you remember those plastic things that you used to...
Yeah, the cover seal almost on the front there.
Yeah, and it never made the bat sound as good.
No.
Did it? You never got that ping that you used to before it, but yes. So
I hope his mate's name was Tiffany, actually, but yeah, it's probably more likely to be Michael Hill.
So look, we're going to pivot a little bit because we actually had 3 GM Ververs to give away over summer. We've given away 2 of them. We've got the third one to give away. I made an executive decision here. We're not going to give away that third one. We are instead going to put it out to tender. We're going to chuck in an ACC jacket, a bunch of merch here as well, some snacker changies, some hats or whatever. Put it out to tender for anyone who wants to purchase that bat, and all of that will be going into Luke Woodcock's Give a Little page. I think it's the right thing to do. I don't think anyone will complain about that. We still enjoy your Bat Chat correspondence. We still want to receive that, and we'll read it out every week because I think everyone's got a story. But that last Verver we are going to put up as a fundraiser for Luke Woodcock because you guys have mentioned it before. I mentioned it on the agenda as well. Him and his family have got a fairly tough 12 to 18 months ahead of them.
Hopefully more.
Luke. Yeah, hopefully more. So anything you can give there. If you go on to Give a Little, just search Luke Woodcock. His page will come up. But we will put that bat out and we'll chuck a bunch of goodies in there as well. And you can we'll put it out to tender, or we can put it onto Trade Me and see what we get with all those funds going to Luke.
Great idea.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Sweet. We've got a bit more correspondence to finish off with, Pool.
Yeah, this is one for the massive nerds. So Chris has been in touch. Hi, lovers of cricket nerdery. I was dismayed by the rubbish ICC team of the T20 tournament, so I've unleashed some maths. He wrote 2 extensive, I would say, LinkedIn posts tagging in all sorts of cricket nerds around the world. But basically, he trained a predictor model on 2,000 historical games and then applied that to the tournament matches.
Oh, Jesus.
And ended up with a team, which I'll just whip through real quickly. Markram, Sampson, Jacks, Airy, Farhan.
From Nepal.
Nepal, yeah.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Farhan, Afridi, Shah Afridi, Van Skalkvik, Evans from Zimbabwe, Bumrah, Holder, and Erasmus from Namibia. I ordered it by batting strength using the same rules, blah, 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 nerd stuff. Then this finishes nicely. As much as it makes me want to vomit in my mouth, it turns out the BCC ICC were correct. No New Zealand player makes my team of the tournament. Seifert was the second best keeper. Finn and Seifert both made the top 10 batsmen, but not the top 11 given the selection criteria. Very sad. Samson and Bumrah did make it from India, which is at least a little bit better than the 4 officially selected in the tournament team. Cheers. Lovely, nerdy stuff from you, Chris.
Jeez, that is sensational. And before we go, we've got a weird announcement. The Battle of the Balls is back. The ACC 11 are playing the Movember 11. We played them a couple of years ago at Eden Park under lights on number 1 there in the stadium. We won. There was an asterisk next to the victory, though, because we did lose 16 wickets in our 190. We just kept sending batsmen in. But as Matt Heath pointed out, no one pointed out, we didn't go over the rules at the start, so we just kept sending batsmen out. And so they're seeking revenge Movember, and it's all to do with Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, where you got to check your plums. And we're doing that in April, and it's going to be at Basin Reserve this year on April the 7th. We'll be running out against the Movember team there, like I said, all in aid of Testicular Cancer Awareness Month in April, which is the number 1 cancer for young men. And all you have to do is really, we're encouraging you just to get out there and just check your plums. Check your pair. Know thy plums, or know thy nuts is the catch line on that. And I think we're going to get sponsorship too from Snackachangi Big Nuts for that as well. So look out for that. We're going to try and chalk up our first legitimate victory ever as the ACC 11. But until next week, thank you, fellas. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.